Hey, welcome to BenUp, where I use my indigenous Igorot roots, adopted American roots, and Catholic roots to navigate through life's messy waters. Just a few weeks, less than a month, the elections are right around the corner. We have very little time, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what's really bothering me now? Is there's still a whole lot of Catholics out there who are planning to vote for Joe Biden and Harris. They're going to vote the Biden-Harris ticket. It's mind-boggling. Despite what brave priests like Father Altman, if you haven't seen the episode I did with Father Altman, you need to check that episode out. But despite what he and other brave priests like Father Frank Pavone, a few bishops, despite what they're telling people, which is you cannot be a real authentic Catholic and Democrat at the same time in 2020. You cannot. Maybe back in the days with President Kennedy, maybe, but this is not the same Democratic Party back then. They have taken a hard left turn, a radical turn, and you just cannot be both Catholic, a true, authentic Catholic, and a Democrat at the same time. So despite the message and the truth in that, many Catholics are still going to vote for Biden. And why? I'll tell you why, because they're confused. Now, I'm not talking about the Catholics out there like me, who have already decided to vote without a doubt for Donald Trump and Pence. I'm talking about you Catholics out there, you good Catholics out there, that still have a spark of reasoning, a spark of rationality, truth seekers. You honestly want the truth, but you're just confused. And I don't blame you to be confused, especially when we have the majority and way too many priests and prelates, especially here in America, confusing you, saying things such as sanctity of life, abortion, pro-life is not the only issue. Okay, saying that, encouraging people to look at all the different issues. You know, as you know, for me, there's just one issue. Okay, it's clear to me. It's just God. This country needs God, and God needs to be put back into the picture. If you recall, I did an episode not too long ago. I was driving down to Louisiana, and on my way, I cut out this little napkin, and I drew on that napkin this triangle. Right, the triangle, on the top of the triangle, I said that would be God. Right up there is the sanctity of life, okay? The protection of all innocent lives, okay? And underneath that, there were all these little dots on there. All these little dots that represented different issues, social issues, economic issues, foreign policy, and all the different issues that are debated and talked about these days. All of those. Not to say none of them or all of them aren't important, but I'm telling you, none of them are as important as putting God and keeping God into the main picture. Okay? The Democrats these days, their main goal in the end is the removal, is this disconnection, the separation of God or the doing away of God. But you know what? I know a lot of you Catholics out there aren't as convicted as I am. You don't share that. You are looking at other issues, okay? You're listening to those priests, those bishops, and whoever else. And for those of y'all out there who are, I'm going to help you out here, okay? I'm going to help you out because there is a book out there that'll help you. A book that I recommend all Catholics, this is a must read or a must listen, because you can get this in audio too. This is a must read for all Catholics, all right? It's a book called A Catholic Vote for Trump. A Catholic Vote for Trump. And the author is Jesse Romero. Jesse Romero. The Catholic vote for Trump, the only choice in 2020 for Republicans, Democrats, and independents alike. That's a great subtitle. All right. Jesse Romero, a Mexican American. This guy, he's written this other book. He's written other books. But one book I really like is about the devil in Los Angeles. Because this guy, he understands. He sees the bigger picture. He doesn't just see he's not caught up on all these little issues. He sees the bigger picture. And that bigger picture, it's really it's a thing. This election is about good versus evil. Good versus evil. He understands spiritual warfare. I'd like to give a review on this, but you know what? I want to concentrate on just the forward of this book in this video. The forward is powerful. It speaks volumes. The forward is by a priest named Father Frank Pavone. He's the priest with the organization Priests for Life, the big pro-life group out there. And Father Frank Pavone, man, I tell you what, I'm going to play it for you. I'm going to actually play it for you on Audible. So if you buy the Audible, if you're like me and you have very little time to read, get the Audible. I've got both. I've got the paperback and I've got the audio version on Audible. So I'll play the Audible version for you right now and just listen. Okay, try to put all your thoughts aside for a few minutes here and listen to what Father Frank Pavone has to say.
Forward. When I do my daily broadcasts from our TV studio at our Priests for Life headquarters, I have a photo of President Donald Trump clearly visible behind me. On a regular basis, one or another viewer whose comments I can see during the broadcast will ask, "Why do you have a picture of President Trump over your shoulder?" I respond first by saying, "Well, this program is coming to you from the United States of America, and he is our president." And second, if he were not where he is, we would not be where we are. I pause for a moment to let that sink in, and then I explain further that under the Obama administration, Priests for Life was one of the religious groups that had to fight all the way to the Supreme Court to avoid crippling fines for our refusal to include abortion in the health insurance plan that we offer our employees. The Supreme Court, in the end, didn't technically decide the case. Donald Trump did. The court had asked that we work out a solution with the administration, and the Obama administration was simply unwilling to honor our religious objections. President Trump did, and we were forever set free from the oppressive mandate that, had it been enforced under a President Hillary Clinton, would not have allowed our ministry and countless others to function.
Let me hit the pause button real quick. This is about God, and this is about religious freedom. And Father Frank Pavone, he says just right. He says, if it weren't for President Trump, we wouldn't be there, meaning Priests for Life wouldn't be there. And a lot of other religious organizations wouldn't be here today.
If President Trump were not where he is, we would not be where we are. Many voters whose faith means something to them realize this, and it's time that the rest did as well. That's why this book is so important and so timely. Because religious people care about virtue, some will complain if they do not think the president is living out the Christian faith. Now, I reject the premise. I believe he does live the Christian faith. He is a man who believes in Christ, keeps his promises, protects his nation as his constitutional duties require him to do, loves his family, and raises beautiful children. By their fruits you will know them, and is generous, including with his salary. A pastor who ministers to him said that he had rarely met a man more open to the Holy Spirit than President Trump. He lives his faith. But to those who think he doesn't, I ask, would you rather have a president who does not live out his faith, or a president who does not allow you to live out your faith.
Whoa. Would you rather have a president who does not live out his faith? Although Father Frank Pavone thinks he does live a Christian life. But would you rather have that kind of a president, or a president who doesn't allow you, meaning me and you, to live out our faith? That's a scary thing, and that's what will happen if Biden gets elected.
No president has protected religious freedom and conscience more than President Trump. And he has done so proactively, putting in place executive policies that enable faith-based organizations to do their work with fewer obstacles and without discrimination, and punishing institutions that violate existing law that protects religious freedom. President Trump even created a new federal office to protect conscience and religious freedom. There's another dimension to consider as well. This election is not about personalities. It is about a clash of worldviews, which shape multiple issues far beyond the most fundamental ones of abortion and religious freedom. The election is not about private virtue. It is about public virtue. Instead of worrying about the president's marriages, ask yourself what impact the judges he appoints will make on the shape of marriage in our country for the next generation. Instead of worrying how religious he is, ask yourself what impact his policies will have on the church's freedom to help people live out their religion for the next generation. Instead of being concerned about the tweets he sends, pay more attention to the laws he signs. It's the public virtue, not the private virtue, that should shape our vote.
Man, I'm glad he brought this up. The difference between private and public virtue, okay? Because I know there's a lot of you out there who are all caught up in the private things about Trump, about not liking about his tweets, his language, his manner, all the other things, okay? There's all these things about the private life of Trump that you don't like. But you know what? You got to separate that. You got to separate that and focus on the public virtue. Like Father Pavone said. Let me play that back to you. Play that. Listen again. Listen very closely what he says.
The election is not about private virtue. It is about public virtue. Instead of worrying about the president's marriages, ask yourself what impact the judges he appoints will make on the shape of marriage in our country for the next generation. Instead of worrying how religious he is, ask yourself what impact his policies will have on the church's freedom to help people live out their religion for the next generation. Instead of being concerned about the tweets he sends, pay more attention to the laws he signs. It's the public virtue, not the private virtue, that should shape our vote. Pro-abortion Democrats try to make us focus on what they believe in private about abortion as an excuse for us to ignore the public policies they create that make it continue. Let's not make the same mistake in reverse. The president himself has said that the election is not about him, it's about you. The attacks launched against him are really attacks on you. They are an attempt to deprive you of the impact of your vote and of your values on our public life. President Trump is just the messenger, the vehicle, of a whole set of policies and worldviews. Stay focused, ask the right questions, and see the big picture. And think for yourself. Remember, Catholicism values human reason very highly and expects us to use it.
Oh, man. Father, you hit it on the nail again. Stay focused. Ask the right questions and see the big picture. But most importantly, I love when he says this. And think for yourself. Remember, Catholicism values human reason very highly and expects us to use it. Human reason. Reason. That's what Catholicism needs to be based on, is reason. And then enlighten the reason with faith. See, when we use our reason, then we can use critical thinking. We can actually arrive at the truth. But you know what? You know why most people, a lot of Catholics today aren't arriving at the truth? You know? Do you know? I'll tell you why. Because it's too easy to rely on your heart, to listen to your heart, and then to go and use your heart to find truth. Whoa. No, 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 no. That is bad. That is not good. You know, the Bible has many warnings on why it's dangerous to follow our heart. Even Father Ripperger, the great exorcist and theologian, even Father Ripperger constantly says in his conferences not to base our lives on our feelings and emotions, especially our spiritual lives. That's dangerous. Why? Because our feelings and our emotions, that's the devil's playground. The devil uses our feelings and emotions to get us to do things, to drive us to act certain ways, to sin, because he wants us to lose our souls. You know? Feelings and emotions, following your heart, not good. Not good. To use and follow your heart and your emotions to arrive at truth, no, no, no. You got to use your intellect, your reason. If you surrender that, if you surrender your ability to have a rational mind, your reasoning, if you surrender that to the left, you're going to be in trouble.
You alone are responsible for your vote, not your parents and grandparents, not your union or your employer, and not even your pastor or bishop. Elections are not just about putting a person into office. That person brings with him or her a whole philosophy and a vast network of appointed officials to carry it out. In the election of 2020, we are not simply asked to choose between Donald Trump and his opponent. We are being asked to choose either the culture of life or the culture of death, religious freedom or religious oppression, prosperity or poverty, a secure nation or open borders, patriotism or globalism, a free market or socialism, the Constitution or judicial tyranny, law and order or anarchy, and much more. This book helps to outline the choice, and I am grateful to its authors.
In this book, you will learn the truth. You will come to the truth. Avoid all the fake news, all the agendas out there. Okay? This is a great book. In the back, it has a whole list of all the achievements in the appendix. I mean, just to give you an example, you know how they're making this whole big thing about racism? I hate racism, okay? And I think this country's getting more racist because of the Democrats. They keep trying to convince us that our country is systemically racist. No, we are not the most racist country. We are the least racist country. But for all you out there who are eating up this racism thing, that Trump is racist, come on, use your reason. But here's what I didn't know. In this book, this is great because this book pointed out this. In one of among his many achievements, it says this. One of them is Trump received a Bipartisan Justice Award at a historically black college for his criminal justice reform accomplishments. Did you hear that? A racist doesn't receive that kind of award. And along the same lines, here's another thing. Trump increased funding for historically black colleges and universities, otherwise known as HBCUs, by more than 14%. Obama didn't do that. He's black. A racist doesn't do that, but Trump did. All right? Reason. and take that reason, enlighten that with your faith. And I'm telling you, regardless if you're one of those people I mentioned earlier, if you're a Catholic, Republican, Democrat, Independent, today, 2020, not 4 years ago, but today, not 10 years ago, today, 2020, all of you who are still thinking about Trump and you're Catholic, if the truth from priests like Father Altman and the bishops that are speaking out, and the cardinals like Cardinal Burke, if that's not enough for you to convince you to vote, and you need to do your own research, like this book encourages, I'm telling you, check this book out. And all y'all out there who are already gonna vote for Trump, all y'all need to get this book. Buy this. It's a cheap book. Buy the Audible. Send it to that family member, to your parents, to that in-law, to your cousin, to your friend, to that coworker, to whoever. Send it to them. Especially if they still have that spark of reasoning. Okay? So like I said, there's not much time. We got to keep praying. Pray hard, pray hard, pray hard. And we got to, when we go to Mass, offer up to every sacrifice of the Mass for the intentions of this election. Offer up all our penances. If you're like me and you're connected to your Catholic roots and you're observing penance on Fridays still, no meat Fridays, penance, fasting and whatnot, offer that up. We need to offer up as much as we can for this election. Because I'm telling you, it's scary. I try not to think about it, but it's scary to think, what will the world look like for my grandkids? I mean, it's a mess as it is today. It'll just get worse if we don't do something. So, let's get out there and do our best, pray, talk to the people we love. And in November 3rd, or before that, get out there and vote. Trump, 2020. Catholics for Trump. Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to steal that. That belongs to certain twins out there that I listen to often. But yes, let's do that. And like I always say, connect to your Catholic roots. Make a Catholic difference. If you're not Catholic, make a good difference. Make a good Christian difference. Engage in life's spiritual battles, because this is about good versus evil. Don't just woman up. Don't just man. Be like St. Benedict and BenUp. God bless you. Hey, this is Rex. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, hit the like button, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell button too, so you get notified on future episodes. So until next time, God bless you.